few people realize that before joining the United States, Vermont was once its own country. For 14 years, it existed as a fully independent republic. The Republic of Vermont was founded in 1777, when this land didn't yet belong to any state. They minted their own currency and ran their own postal system. They answered to no federal government of any kind. But what's even more remarkable lies within their own constitution. Vermont became the first place in North America to formally ban slavery. It was a decision far ahead of its time, when the rest of the continent was still steeped in injustice. They also granted every man the right to vote, without requiring land ownership, a radical idea rarely seen in the late 18th century. In 1791, Vermont officially joined the Union, becoming the 14th state. But that spirit of independence never truly faded away. It still quietly runs through the way Vermonters live today. Let's explore a land that once dared to stand alone against an entire continent. That spirit of independence didn't stay confined to the old pages of history. It still quietly runs through every road in Vermont today. Try to imagine driving across the entire state without ever spotting a single billboard. No billboards, no giant banners, no commercial images crowding the roadside. Back in 1968, Vermont passed a law that was nearly unheard of at the time. They completely banned outdoor billboards along every highway in the state. The reason was simple. They didn't want commerce to block their natural landscape. This was the first state in America to make such a bold decision. Today, driving through Vermont, all you see is forest, hills, and open sky. Not a single billboard stands between you and the natural scenery. That very choice reflects a much deeper philosophy woven into this land. Vermonters don't chase speed or showiness. There are no skyscrapers here, no fast-paced rhythm of a big city. Instead, they choose to live close to the land and the seasons. Farmers markets pop up in small towns across the state every weekend. Locals take pride in supporting produce, grown right in their own backyard. Community co-ops have kept running steadily here for generations. This isn't some passing trend. It's a way of life woven into their character. Vermont chooses to slow down in a country that's always rushing forward. But there's one season that makes Vermont shine in an entirely different way. It's when summer starts to fade and the air turns crisp. Millions of maple trees across the state begin to change into new colors. The whole land drenches itself in brilliant reds, oranges, and yellows. Americans even coined a name just for the joy of watching this display: leaf peeping. Literally, it means the quiet act of watching each leaf change color. But for Vermont, this has become an entire tourism culture of its own. Every year, millions of visitors flock here just to witness this fleeting moment. But why is Vermont's fall foliage so incredibly vivid? The answer lies deep in this land's unique soil and climate. The sharp temperature swing between day and night in autumn triggers intense pigment change. As chlorophyll fades away, the hidden pigments underneath finally get their chance to bloom. Deep red, fiery orange, and golden yellow blend together across every hillside. The entire state drapes itself in one massive tapestry of color. This is the moment Vermont becomes the most beautiful version of itself. But the fall colors are only the beginning of the beauty still waiting ahead. Behind those brilliant forests lie countless stunning places yet to be fully explored. Join us as we roam across Vermont to find the most beautiful places this state has to offer. Perched precariously along the border between the United States and Canada, Lake Champlain appears like a poetic, natural painting, with its calm waters reflecting the majestic green mountains. Surrounding the lake are endless old-growth forests, glowing brilliantly beneath the summer sun before shedding their vivid red leaves in autumn. But hidden behind that romantic beauty is a silent graveyard, concealing some of the darkest secrets in military history. Hundreds of warship wrecks from the Revolutionary War era still lie intact on the dark lake bed, as if they had sunk only yesterday. The icy fresh water has turned the lake bed into a ghostly museum where time has remained completely frozen for centuries. Alongside the rusting steel skeletons, the deep darkness is also home to the haunting legend of the Champ Lake Monster. Hidden behind thick curtains of fog covering the sheer limestone cliffs is an underground world that is both magnificent and merciless. The captivating natural scenery along the shore is, in truth, only a perfect cover, concealing the threats lurking below. When night falls, that silent lake is ready to swallow any curious intruder who dares trespass into its realm of darkness. Located along the Winooski River in central Vermont, Montpelier holds a strange record, the only state capital in the United States that says no to McDonald's. This small town firmly rejects giant fast food corporations in order to protect its local culture. It is also the state capital with the smallest population in the entire United States. Instead of bustling skyscrapers, the city is surrounded by red maple groves and deep green pine forests. The most magnificent highlight rising above the historic surroundings is the 24K gold leaf dome of the State House. The small brick-paved streets are always shaded by trees and lined with cafes and family-run craft workshops. The gentle pace of life, flowing through every street corner, makes visitors feel as if time has completely stopped. The local government and community have persisted for centuries to preserve the full extent of its peaceful, untouched character. The liveliest sound on each autumn afternoon is merely the rustling of dry leaves beneath the feet of strolling visitors. The very first steps onto the summit of Mount Mansfield will immediately cast you into a pristine world forgotten by time. The highest and proudest mountain in Vermont, this peak is one of the rare places that has successfully preserved an ice-age alpine tundra ecosystem. Weathered over millions of years, this massive limestone formation has carved itself into the shape of a human face lying on its back. Freezing winds constantly batter the rocky nose and chin, turning every cliff into the harshest of challenges. White snow swallows the narrow paths when winter arrives, burying countless traces of those who dared to conquer the mountain despite the danger. Hidden behind the brilliant golden hues of the misty forests in autumn is the looming risk of rock slides, crashing down into the deep abyss. The primal power of nature here stands ready to take the life of anyone who becomes careless at the boundary of death. Mount Mansfield is a monumental memorial of stone, where humans are forced to bow before the dominion of the earth. As you walk across the old iron bridge shrouded in mist, you will suddenly be startled by the roar echoing from Quechee Gorge. Known as Vermont's miniature Grand Canyon, this wonder was torn apart by the furious power of flowing water. More than 16,000 years ago, the devastating melting of Ice Age glaciers pierced through the hard rock to create this abyss. The Ottauquechee River churns violently beneath the 164-foot-high rocky gorge, throwing up white foam that conceals extremely dangerous underwater currents. Dense vegetation clinging to the vertical cliffs creates a poetic natural landscape that is nevertheless completely merciless. It is said that lumberjacks in the past had to risk their lives to free thousands of logs trapped inside the gorge. Hidden behind the brilliant beauty of the autumn leaves are narrow paths surrounded by abysses, where a single slip leaves no chance to correct the mistake. That spectacular landscape instantly swallows every cry for help from those who accidentally fall into the raging, muddy water below. Carefully take one step back, because beneath the darkness of the gorge, the limestone monster is still silently waiting for its prey. If you stand on the southern shore of Lake Memphremagog, the emerald water stretching endlessly into the distance seems to be whispering secrets across the border. This giant water monster extends its reach for more than 19 miles, linking the United States and Canada through a shadowy waterway corridor. During the brutal years of Prohibition, this peaceful lake once became an infamous smuggling route for countless reckless gunmen. Night after night, boats loaded with illegal liquor tore through the waves in darkness, ready to open fire on any patrol force that blocked their path. This deep, seemingly bottomless water hides not only the traces of criminals, but also a legendary creature named Memphrey, surrounded by hundreds of rumors. Generations of sailors have continued to insist that they once encountered a giant sea serpent rising from the water amid bands of pitch-black fog. More than 20 small islands lie scattered across the lake like isolated outposts, concealing shipwrecks that were never recorded. The freezing water in winter swallows the entire surface, turning this place into an endless stretch of black ice filled with deadly traps. Do not be deceived by its silent stillness, because beneath this lake, its criminal history and ghostly mysteries have never truly gone to sleep. The towering monument rising straight into the sky is the first sight that welcomes visitors to Bennington. This tower marks the site of the 1777 battle, an important turning point that helped American forces and civilians secure independence. Beyond its heroic chapter of history, this southern Vermont town has an exceptionally quiet and relaxed rhythm of life. Tree-shaded roads lined with ancient trees lead past homes built in preserved colonial architectural styles. The great poet Robert Frost once spent some of the most peaceful days of his life amid this refreshing green landscape. His simple grave rests quietly beneath an old tree behind the historic church, like a spiritual anchor. A centuries-old handcrafted pottery workshop continues to produce exquisite household goods. The peaceful beauty of the present is a priceless reward for a land that once endured the blazing moments of war. Nestled among the rolling hills of Caledonia and Washington counties, Joe's Pond possesses an endless stretch of calm, deep blue water. The lake's name is associated with Indian Joe, an indigenous hunter who once guided American Revolutionary forces through this region. Maple and red pine forests completely embrace the steep shoreline, casting dense shadows onto the mirror-like water. The old railroad line running along the edge of the cliff has now become a walking path, opening up a sweeping view of the entire landscape. In autumn, the brilliantly changing foliage reflected in the water creates a magical natural painting overflowing with orange and red. Morning fog often lingers for a long time over the narrow inlets, concealing the small islands scattered across the lake. When the freezing winter cold arrives, the entire valley freezes over, transforming the lake into a vast white desert. The vehicle comes to a stop among the ancient pine trees of the Wind River Range in Wyoming, United States, returning you to the immense silence of the wilderness. Shadow Lake emerges faintly through the cold wind, striking directly against your face and carrying the primal chill of ice. The dark, perfectly still water resembles an ancient mirror, reflecting sharp granite cliffs piercing through the gray clouds. Every footstep pounding onto the layer of decaying leaves produces a crisp sound, tearing through the suffocating silence of the vast surroundings. There are absolutely no city lights here, only a dim glow filtering through the gaps between the darkened leaves. You suddenly realize that the hidden beauty of this place is not gentle at all, but carries a brutally powerful force of nature that takes your breath away. Darkness from the towering mountain ranges collapses across the water like a silent avalanche as soon as the last light of sunset disappears. The cry of a nocturnal bird suddenly tears through the surroundings, echoes against the cliffs, and then vanishes into the bottomless abyss. Shadow Lake stands there like a silent fortress, forcing humanity to tremble and bow before the greatness of nature. Located along the picturesque eastern shore of Lake Champlain, the city of Burlington shines brilliantly amid the magnificent natural landscape of Vermont. Bands of red-leaf maple forests surround the city and reflect on the deep blue water, creating an exceptionally fresh and healthy living environment. This is the first major city in the United States to pioneer operating entirely on 100% clean, renewable energy. The perfect combination of wind power, hydropower, and bioenergy has enabled this urban area to become completely self-sufficient in electricity. Residents here enjoy a civilized green lifestyle, where pedestrian districts are always bustling with cafes and music. Wild vegetation and the lakeside ecosystem are carefully preserved, providing the community with fresh air throughout the year. Bicycle routes stretching along the lakeshore make it easy for people to immerse themselves in the open, natural surroundings every day. The local government and community have persisted for decades to transform this place into a model city for the entire nation. Today's brilliant prosperity is a powerful answer to those who once doubted the future of green energy.
Você caminha cambaleando pela borda da tundra encharcada antes que o som das cataratas Moss Glen rasgue o ar silencioso. Uma massa de água completamente branca despenca diretamente de uma altura de mais de 40 metros, despedaçando o antigo penhasco de Ardósia em milhares de minúsculos fragmentos. Ao contrário da aparência tranquila dos riachos turísticos, a força giratória na base das cataratas cria uma corrente de sucção extremamente perigosa. O musgo verde e escorregadio que cobre completamente as saliências rochosas envoltas em névoa já lançou muitos fotógrafos imprudentes no profundo abismo. O vapor de água cobre o ambiente como uma névoa sombria, transformando a luz do sol em faixas de ilusões fantasmagóricas que pairam pelo ar. A antiga estrutura geológica desgastada pela erosão faz com que enormes blocos de pedra calcária acima estejam sempre prontos para desabar inesperadamente. O rugido da água ecoa pela estreita passagem entre as montanhas, como uma ameaça constante para aqueles que deliberadamente tentam ultrapassar a barreira. A correnteza violenta apaga rapidamente qualquer vestígio de sangue e todos os rastros daqueles que perdem o equilíbrio, devolvendo à floresta sua frieza original. Um único escorregão à beira deste abismo significa encerrar com as próprias mãos o seu próprio contrato de sobrevivência.
Instead of pouring down like a ribbon of silk, Texas Falls operates like a brutal rock planing machine powered by water. Masses of water pounding relentlessly for thousands of years have bored through the rock bed, swirling into bizarre, perfectly round potholes. These bottomless devil's kettles continuously spin small pebbles, turning them into natural geological drills. You can smell the strong scent of minerals and eroded limestone in the damp air surrounding the gorge. Spanning the ravine is an old wooden bridge where visitors stand looking down at a roaring maze of snow-white foam. The geological layers here are tilted and stacked at strange angles, creating extremely treacherous broken cascades. People have witnessed large, ancient tree trunks being torn into splinters after accidentally drifting into the whirlpools. All the hydraulic energy is compressed inside a narrow channel of natural concrete, creating pressure that weighs heavily on the eardrums. The boundary between a stunning travel photo and a catastrophic accident here is exactly one barrier line apart. Deep within the silent preserve of Vermont, Hamilton Falls wears the magnificent appearance of a natural masterpiece carved in stone. The waterfall plunges from a height of more than 164 feet, cutting through geological layers before pouring into a natural rock basin. The mesmerizing appeal of the calm, emerald green water below often causes visitors to mistake it for a safe swimming pool. However, this perfectly rounded basin actually functions like a natural washing machine with an invisible swirling force. The layer of algae clinging to the slate banks is extremely slippery and has caused many people to lose their footing and fall straight into the raging current. During flood season, the entire waterfall transforms into a massive force of energy that sweeps away every obstacle in its path. The roaring sound echoes through the canopies of ancient trees like a warning to those who dare to disregard the rules. Taking the risk of crossing the forbidden boundary here can turn your excursion into a tragedy with no answer. Located right at the confluence of the Connecticut River and West River, Brattleboro chose a completely different path for itself. A free-spirited identity and spontaneous artistic energy flow through every small corner of this town. In the 1960s, a wave of young people with liberal ideals moved here to live and laid the foundations of its culture. They transformed historic brick buildings into art centers, independent cinemas, and open creative spaces. Local residents personally operate one of the state's longest-standing cooperative farmers markets to honor the value of local labor. Respect for differences has turned this town into a warm home where artists, writers, and craftspeople gather. Every Friday afternoon, lively street music fills the air, drawing people closer together amid a colorful setting. This small town proves that community connection is what creates lasting appeal for an urban place. The moment you set foot in New York State, Buttermilk Falls in Ithaca will surround you with a blanket of white mist, resembling surging milk foam. Instead of plunging straight down vertically, this stream chooses to stretch and crawl across cracked slabs of clay rock for hundreds of feet. The journey along the steep gorge forces curious visitors to walk carefully on moss-covered slippery steps filled with danger. At the end of that gigantic natural slide lies a deep pool concealing underground sinkholes formed continuously throughout the Ice Age. Sunlight filtering through the canopy of ancient pine trees accidentally creates dancing streaks of light across the murky surface of constantly breaking foam. Viewed from Vermont's Connecticut River Valley, Mount Ascutney rises majestically, like a solitary giant abandoned in the middle of the plain. Formed from an extinct volcano millions of years ago, this eroded mass of rock is an extremely rare geological monadnock phenomenon. Endless green broadleaf forest suddenly gives way to gray granite ledges, weathered and eroded over time. You will find the ruins of ancient quarries where people once cut into the mountain to obtain materials for constructing historic structures. Conquering this ancient volcano is how you write your own chapter of adventure before the power of time. Near the Canadian border in Vermont, Jay Peak stands proudly like an icy fortress facing the fiercest snowstorms in the eastern United States. Daring skiers constantly challenge themselves on free ride runs filled with obstacles and dangerous boulders. Dense fog frequently blankets the entire summit, turning the surrounding space completely white and making it easy for people to lose their sense of direction. Beneath that soft snow lie ancient geological fractures, ready to trap anyone careless enough to stray from the safe route. In stark contrast to the lively resort below, this high summit always keeps for itself a threatening silence. Located at the heart of Vermont's Green Mountains, Killington Peak rises majestically to an elevation of more than 4,265 feet above sea level. Known as the Beast of the East, This mountain possesses a massive snowmaking system covering more than 600 acres of skiable terrain. The journey to the summit, aboard a gondola swaying high in the air, carries you across steep and treacherous ravines. This place has hosted a world championship where racers hurled themselves down snowy slopes at speeds exceeding 62 miles per hour. Furious winds sweeping across the bare gray summit quickly turn thin bands of fog into a layer of ice that clings tightly to visitors' clothing. Thick snow remains on the rock ledges until May, challenging the patience of anyone eager to explore the summer season early. Facing the vast coldness at the summit of this mountain, you will clearly feel how small humanity is before the laws of geology. Located near the northern border, the city of St. Albans has risen to become one of the leading maple syrup capitals in the United States. A lush green canopy blankets the vast forests, creating a natural landscape filled with fresh vitality. Every spring, thousands of acres of forest begin collecting sap at the same time, turning the entire region into a bustling landscape of labor. Local residents personally cook batches of golden syrup using traditional handcrafted methods passed down through many generations. The annual Maple Syrup Festival attracts thousands of visitors who come to experience the distinctive rhythm of local culture. Taylor Park, located right in the center, is always filled with the cheerful laughter of children running and playing around the historic fountain. Rows of Victorian-style houses have been perfectly restored, reflecting the friendly footsteps of the hospitable residents. The sweet abundance provided by nature is the source of vitality that has sustained this resilient community for centuries. Imagine recklessly charging through mist-shrouded forests only to suddenly stop dead before the bare summit of Camel's Hump. Completely unlike peaks covered in lush vegetation, this mountain exposes its entire brutal mass of ancient rock. It is said that this place once witnessed a devastating bomber crash during the bleak winter of 1944. The metallic remains of the B-25 still lie scattered among the frozen cliffs today like a silent witness to history. Those fragments protrude from the rare Ice Age alpine tundra vegetation, evoking the brutal clash between humanity and nature. Flesh-ripping, howling winds continuously scream through the mountain passes, carrying a bitter chill that swallows every trace of visitors. To touch the proud rocky summit shaped like a camel's hump, you are forced to crawl across lethally slippery rock ledges. Beneath your feet lies a bottomless abyss, where a single small misstep is enough to cost you your precious life. Camel's Hump is a survival novel written in stone, where primal nature preserves its most brutal scars. Located in Vermont's Green Mountain National Forest, Stratton Mountain, at an elevation of nearly 3,937 feet, is the birthplace of two legendary trails. It was on this windswept, rocky summit that the idea of creating the Long Trail and the famous Interstate Appalachian Trail was officially sketched out. The modern cabin lift glides above brilliant maple forests, carrying visitors across treacherous slopes in just a few short minutes. Climbing each rusty iron step of this historic tower is the finest way to touch the legacy of exploring North America's wilderness. Commanding the vast expanse of Vermont's Taconic Range, Mount Equinox holds the distinction of being the highest privately owned summit belonging to a Carthusian monastery. The toll road known as Skyline Drive winds for 10 miles along the cliffside, carrying drivers through heart-stopping curves. Once owned by an energy developer, this mountain is now strictly preserved to maintain absolute tranquility for the monastery. Visitors following the trails will encounter St. Bruno Fellowship, where monks live in seclusion, completely separated from the modern world. The visitor center building at the summit was specially designed to withstand violent winds exceeding 62 miles per hour. The contrast between the modern paved road and the solemn meditative setting creates an exceptionally distinctive spiritual atmosphere. slowly driving down the mountainside in the fading sunset is the journey that closes a sightseeing trip filled with lingering reflections. Hidden away in Rutland County, Vermont, Lake Bomoseen holds the distinction of being the largest natural freshwater lake located entirely within the state. The region's history boomed in the 19th century when the slate quarrying industry transformed this area into a bustling industrial center. Visitors today can still find countless ruins of ancient quarries hidden beneath the vegetation along the shoreline. Neshobe Island, rising from the middle of the lake, was once a gathering place for famous writers associated with the renowned Algonquin Round Table. Tales of a mysterious ghost fairy that vanished in the night are still frequently passed from person to person around campfires. Boating and fishing activities remain extremely lively throughout the warm summer months on the dreamy emerald green water. When winter freezes the surface, the lake immediately transforms into a gigantic stage for ice fishing. Rows of maple trees glowing red and reflected on the autumn water create a natural masterpiece that captivates countless visitors. A visit to this legendary lake will offer you a unique experience combining history with natural beauty. Nestled within a narrow valley in Vermont, Emerald Lake captivates visitors with its crystal-clear emerald green water resembling a precious gemstone. The lake's name comes from a distinctive optical effect created when sunlight shines onto the transparent water and reflects the pristine forest. Local authorities completely prohibit motorized engines in order to preserve absolute tranquility for the untouched ecosystem. Gentle kayak strokes, cutting through the still water, reveal a landscape so quiet that you can clearly hear birds singing. Ancient pine trees extend their roots firmly into the rocky shoreline, sheltering the lake from the oppressive heat of summer days. The natural shoreline beach attracts swimmers with its gently sloping lake bed and crystal clear water that allows them to see all the way to the bottom. Walking along the waterside trail, you will encounter peaceful, natural fishing areas hidden behind the trees. The magical transformation of the autumn maple foliage turns the landscape into a watercolor painting overflowing with shades of red and gold. As sunset falls, darkness blankets the lake and restores the primal silence that has always belonged to this vast wilderness. Located right at the foot of Vermont's Green Mountains, Lake Dunmore was once an ideal hiding place for the legendary Green Mountain Boys guerrilla force. That heroic history seems to still echo through every gentle ripple washing against the calm, natural sandy shore. The clear, mirror-like water perfectly reflects the towering granite cliffs and the endless green pine forests. Visitors can paddle across the calm water or take part in camping and outdoor activities along the lakeshore. The steep trail leading to the nearby Falls of Lana challenges your endurance with slippery, moss-covered stone steps. As darkness falls, fog descends from the mountain onto the lake, covering the surroundings with an eerie and mysterious atmosphere. The only sound breaking the profound silence at this moment is the haunting call of wild loons, echoing from the distance. The layers of sediment deposited beneath the lake over thousands of years form a silent diary recording the traces of historical upheavals. Located near the Canadian border in the town of Franklin, Lake Carmi covers 2.16 square miles and is the fourth largest natural lake located entirely within Vermont. This protected wetland covering more than 50 hectares now supports stands of stunted black spruce along with unique carnivorous pitcher plants. Fishing enthusiasts often launch their boats onto the calm water in search of northern pike and walleye. Local conservation authorities continuously implement measures to control fertilizer runoff in order to prevent outbreaks of blue-green algae during the summer. When the morning fog clears, the calm water's edge once again reflects the silhouette of the pinnacle in the distance across the border. The combination of the vast water surface and pristine wetlands offers a completely distinctive perspective on the geology of North America. Formed by the retreat of ancient glaciers, Lake St. Catherine in Rutland County was once a traditional hunting ground of the indigenous Abenaki people. The lake was named after St. Catherine by Jesuit priests to commemorate their arduous missionary journey through the wilderness. History changed dramatically when European settlers transformed the area surrounding the lake into large-scale slate quarries. Over many decades, nature healed itself, transforming a dusty industrial region into a lush and tranquil state park. Visitors following the steep trail will encounter gray slate cliffs submerged beneath green moss and the canopy of sparse pine forests. Local legend says that the deep emerald green water still conceals stone hauling carts that were submerged in the 19th century. On windy summer nights, people still whisper about faint sounds of clashing metal echoing from the abandoned mines. The freezing winter transforms the water's surface into a natural ice road where snowmobilers test their courage against the cold. Beneath the still water, time seems to stand frozen, preserving the unsolved secrets of a brutal era of exploration. Leaving behind the noise and bustle of the city, the search for a peaceful retreat leads travelers to Green River Reservoir in Vermont. This destination stretches across a lake covering more than 600 acres, with 19 miles of completely untouched shoreline. To protect its primal tranquility, strict regulations here completely prohibit all roaring gasoline-powered engines. Gentle paddle strokes part the water as the kayak glides past ancient rocky gorges and countless solitary small islands. More than 20 wilderness campsites are scattered around the lakeshore and can only be reached by water. As sunset falls, the deep and haunting calls of wild loons rise up and break the silent atmosphere. Visitors spread out their ground sheets and light campfires by the water's edge, listening late into the night to waves murmuring against moss-covered rock ledges. With no electric lights or telecommunication signals, the darkness covering this realm fully restores the brilliance of the Milky Way. The experience of pitching a tent in this wilderness will give you a rare moment of stillness to reconnect with your soul. Hidden away in the town of Morgan in Vermont's Northeast Kingdom, Seymour Lake is shaped like a gigantic boot. Covering more than 1,600 acres, it is one of the largest and deepest natural lakes in the entire state. The history of the region records that this crystal-clear glacial water was once a traditional fishing ground of the Abenaki people. Professional anglers often whisper to one another about the deep lake basin, home to rare giant lake trout. The arrival of the freezing winter transforms the lake's surface into a natural ice track for high-speed snowmobile races. Embraced by the Taconic and Green Mountain ranges, the town of Manchester in Vermont preserves immensely valuable historical secrets. The crystal-clear Battenkill River winds through wild fern thickets, sustaining native trout renowned throughout New England. This place was once a favorite summer retreat of President Abraham Lincoln's family, amid a peaceful landscape filled with flowers and greenery. The sidewalk, made entirely of natural white marble, reflects the friendly footsteps of generations of hospitable residents. Autumn mist drifting across the mountaintops as sunset falls brings out the nostalgic beauty of a legendary land. Connecting two steep cliffs in the town of Barton, Crystal Lake draws attention with water so clear that the bottom can be seen through it. Barton Mountain stands like a towering guardian to the east, casting dense tree shadows across the natural sandy beach stretching along the northern shore. A railroad company once cut through the granite mountainside to lay tracks along the lakeshore for transporting mineral resources. The failure of an artificial dam in 1810 once unleashed a raging torrent that swept away the entire valley terrain below. The sheer cliffs surrounding the lake have become a training ground for local adventure climbers. On windy summer days, countless colorful sails chase one another across the blue-green water like a painting. Darkness falls very quickly through the mountain gaps, leaving behind the murmur of waves striking moss-covered rock ledges. The final rays of sunset stain the granite cliffs red before giving way to nightfall over the lake. The city of Rutland rises beside the Green Mountains with a cool, striking appearance, carved almost entirely from marble. The ground beneath this area once held underground marble quarries of some of the highest quality in the entire United States. In the 19th century, thousands of skilled stoneworkers from Italy crossed the ocean to come here, bringing with them exceptional sculpting techniques. In their talented hands, brilliant white blocks of stone became building materials for countless iconic structures in Washington. The industrial past remains visible through enormous, vibrant murals painted across buildings throughout the downtown area. Young people today come here to conquer challenging mountain biking trails that cut through rocky cliffs. Local stone museums continue to preserve the simple carving tools used by earlier generations. Rutland today wears a modern appearance while still preserving its full pride in the stoneworkers of the past. Known as the Heart of Elmore, Lake Elmore rests neatly at the foot of majestic Mount Elmore in Lamoille County, Vermont. The creation of the state park surrounding the entire lake began with land donations from local residents. The Steel Fire Observation Tower on the summit of the nearby mountain offers a sweeping view that embraces the entire deep blue surface of the lake. The strip of fine sandy beach along the shore has become a gathering place for families holding picnics on hot summer days. Stand-up paddlers often glide leisurely past clusters of buttonbush and wetland areas that support waterfowl. A major storm devastated large sections of forest along the lake, clearing the way for new vegetation to sprout and flourish. The blend of orange-red maple foliage and the colors of the autumn water creates a natural landscape overflowing with color. Sudden rain showers can sweep thousands of fallen yellow leaves across the surface of the still lake. Ormond by damming the Deerfield River in the 1920s, Harriman Reservoir is the largest artificial lake in Vermont. This massive hydroelectric project once submerged the entire old village of Somerset beneath water, tens of feet deep. The gigantic funnel-shaped concrete spillway structure known as the Glory Hole is its most unusual architectural feature. Hundreds of kayakers often come here to explore the steep gorges and solitary small islands. Part of the western shoreline has been designated as a well-known clothing-optional swimming area, attracting large numbers of free-spirited visitors. Winds blowing from the valley across the vast lake create rolling waves that challenge the steering skills of sailors. As the reservoir level drops during the dry season, the old concrete foundation ruins of the submerged village from years ago are exposed. Engineers operating the hydroelectric dam continue to monitor incoming water flow in order to regulate the generator's output. Isolated in the wild, mountain forests of Windham County, Somerset Reservoir is an artificial lake with a primal beauty. Created to regulate the flow of the Deerfield River, this reservoir has absolutely no noisy commercial services. The rough dirt road, stretching for miles, is the only challenge separating the outside world from this peaceful realm. Bald eagles frequently circle above the tops of withered pine trees, watching for schools of fish swimming below. Wooden canoes quietly cut through the misty water, carrying visitors deeper into the northern wetlands. The first snowfall of the season transforms the entire forest surrounding the reservoir into a frozen, white desert. The surroundings are so silent that people can clearly hear the footsteps of white-tailed deer searching for food. Nestled beside a lush green valley, Virgin preserves a remarkably distinctive record that few people know about. Covering an area of only 2.5 square miles, this is the smallest city ever established in the state of Vermont. Despite its modest size, this city carries a proud history, having once served as a crucial warship building base in 1814. Hundreds of talented shipbuilders of the past transformed timber from the wild forests into a powerful fleet that defeated the British forces on Lake Champlain. Otter Creek Falls, cascading directly through the city center, once supplied power to operate more than 10 historic mechanical factories. Today, rows of Victorian-era brick buildings have been fully restored, giving the city an exceptionally warm and picturesque beauty. Local residents always welcome visitors with sincerity and simplicity, along with proud stories about the heritage of their ancestors. The local government skillfully combines the preservation of historic sites with everyday community cultural activities. Its small size has never prevented this city from writing its name into the brilliant golden pages of the nation's history. Located on the northern edge of Vermont, the city of Newport carries the peaceful beauty of a small border community. The historic streets running through the downtown area proudly feature many architectural landmarks bearing the marks of a long history. The community here remains closely connected through lively local markets and everyday cultural exchange activities. Traditional craft shops and small cafes always welcome visitors with friendliness and warmth. Local residents take great pride in their clean living environment and slow pace of life, far removed from the bustle of urban areas. Modern pedestrian routes are thoughtfully planned to connect residential neighborhoods harmoniously with the commercial center. The city government continuously strives to preserve local culture while developing sustainable infrastructure. The welcoming smiles of the residents are the distinctive charm that makes this place a wonderful stop. Hidden among the Green Mountains, Chittenden Reservoir was built in the early 20th century to provide hydroelectric power for the region. When the dam project blocking the flow was completed, the rising water permanently submerged dirt roads, along with several old farms. An elderly local fisherman still often tells stories about ancient trees standing dead beneath the reservoir, where fish swim through their skeletal wooden structures. Regulations banning high-powered engines help preserve the stillness of the water, broken only by the soft sound of paddles cutting through the mist. Biologists once released pairs of bald eagles here to restore life to this proud bird of prey. A historic storm once tore through part of the dam bank, forcing authorities to reinforce the entire load-bearing concrete section. As the evening light fades, The shadows of the surrounding mountains stretch endlessly, tinting the untouched vegetation along the lakeshore purple. Cracked sheets of ice collapse into the deep water each spring, creating a series of sharp sounds that echo throughout the surroundings. Formed from the remains of a massive melted glacier, Maidstone Lake contains a geological depth stretching back billions of years. Lumberjacks in the past once turned this calm water into a waterway for transporting thousands of pine logs downstream. The tale of a log raft that capsized during a winter night thunderstorm is still whispered by local residents beside the fire. Visitors following the trail will encounter smooth rocks, marked by scratches left across their surfaces by ancient ice and snow. The haunting calls of wild loons rising late at night always startle first-time campers visiting the area. A local rescue team once recovered from the deep lake a copper-clad wooden canoe dating back to the 19th century. The concrete joints of the old docks along the shore are now covered with moss, silent witnesses to a bygone era of exploration. A sudden cold wind blowing in from the north will carry countless fallen maple leaves scattering across the perfectly still surface of the lake. If you mistakenly think this is where the legendary music festival took place, the town of Woodstock in Vermont will smile quietly. The peaceful Ottauquechee River flows beneath historic covered wooden bridges, embracing the unique Marsh-Billings-Rockefeller National Historical Park. Brilliant maple forests and wild groves surrounding the valley create an exceptionally charming classic natural landscape. Dubbed the most beautiful town in the United States, this place carries a historic mission tied to the earliest nature conservation movement. It was on this land that thinker George Perkins Marsh laid the foundation for a philosophy of harmonious coexistence between humans and the environment. The Rockefeller family later took over the land, transforming the entire farm into a living museum of sustainable forestry. Today, visitors stroll along charming stone-paved streets to experience the slow, nostalgic rhythm of life from the previous century. Every historic red brick house preserves a story about determined people who protected the green beauty of the ancient forest. The warm yellow light glowing from the windows as night falls illuminates an entire corner of timeless memory. Nestled peacefully in the beautiful Champlain Valley, Middlebury welcomes visitors with a cultural atmosphere that is both historic and full of vitality. The founding of Middlebury College in 1800 laid the foundation for transforming this small town into an imposing center of knowledge. More than 2,500 students from around the world come here each year, bringing youthful energy to the historic brick streets. The brilliant white limestone buildings stand quietly beneath the shade of rows of centuries-old trees. Otter Creek, with its central waterfall rising more than 19.7 feet, crashes down in white torrents, dividing the town with breathtaking natural beauty. Local residents persistently preserve long-established independent bookstores, along with countless traditional handicraft workshops. Outdoor art exhibitions take place regularly, transforming street corners into completely free creative spaces. The rhythm of modern intellectual life blends harmoniously with the nostalgic traces of the past, creating an exceptionally refined living environment. This small town is a vivid testament to the remarkable connecting power between education and community. Surrounded by the vast Groton State Forest, Lake Groton was once a long-established homeland of indigenous hunters. In 1930, the Civilian Conservation Corps arrived here and began building a system of trails and wooden park cabins. The young workers of that era used hand axes to cut down old pine trees one by one, creating a sturdy path along the lakeshore. Paddling along the eastern shore will take you past sheer granite cliffs where falcons nest high above. A fierce wildfire in the past once burned through the strip of trees along the shore, leaving blackened stumps rising from the water. Today, regenerated vegetation covers nature's old scars in lush green, concealing every trace of destruction. The footsteps of black bears searching for berries in autumn occasionally shake the dry branches along the shore. The full moon shines through the canopy, casting a silver streak across the water that stretches all the way to the foot of the distant, desolate cliffs. Isolated at an elevation of more than 1,312 feet, Peachum Pond is a highland lake, constantly immersed in bitterly cold air. The old forest ranger still often recalls the story of a sudden snowstorm that swallowed 2 hunters during that autumn. The mirror-like surface perfectly reflects the stands of red pine hugging the shoreline, creating a space completely separated from the outside world. Strict water resource protection planning has helped this lake avoid the intrusion of noisy commercial real estate projects. The lakebed is covered with smooth pebbles, where schools of pike hide beneath bands of green moss to hunt for prey each morning. People say that ghosts from avalanche disasters still silently stalk the town of Stowe in northern Vermont. Nestled at the foot of majestic Mount Mansfield, this place has risen to become one of the most famous winter skiing paradises in the United States. Brilliant maple forests and stretches of green pine trees blanket the slopes, creating a breathtakingly captivating natural landscape. Yet deep within the state's highest mountain are thrilling legends about raging snowstorms that swallowed visitors. This miniature Nordwand Cliff of New England has witnessed many arrogant adventurers pay with their lives. Ancient hunters once passed down stories about mysterious creatures hiding in icy caves around the mountain summit. Veteran skiers always whisper reminders to one another about the thin boundary between excitement and danger. The Smuggler's Notch Trail winding through the narrow mountain pass was once a dramatic smuggling route throughout the wars. When sunset casts its shadow over the cold mountain range, the wind howling through the rocky gaps sounds like a warning echoing from the past. Named after the colonial-era explorer Daniel Harvey, Harvey's Lake has left its mark on history as a stopping place for traders. More remarkably, the renowned biologist Jacques Cousteau once chose this lake to test his first compressed air tank. That deep-diving experiment opened a new chapter in ocean exploration and brought the lake's name to the world. Layers of sediment accumulated on the lakebed preserve data about climate change in North America over thousands of years. Local residents still maintain the habit of launching fishing boats at dawn, when the lake remains covered by a hazy layer of mist. A small landslide during the previous rainy season pushed large granite slabs into the water, altering the structure of the western shoreline. Northeastern winter winds blowing across the basin create ripples that repeatedly strike the rocky shore, throwing up white foam across the area. The final rays of sunlight gradually fade from the top of a distant church tower, restoring the lakeshore to its original silence. Just north of the town of Greensboro, Vermont, Caspian Lake unfolds like a natural painting nestled within the valley. The vast water shifts in color from emerald green to deep blue, with gentle ripples rolling toward the smooth, sandy shore. Endless stretches of maple forests and white clouds embrace the entire lake, casting broad shadows over the crystal-clear, shallow waters. Beneath the lake, schools of wild trout swim freely past submerged rock ledges and beds of deep green aquatic vegetation. The weather here changes magically as streaks of golden sunlight pierce the morning mist, illuminating the entire vast landscape. The forests surrounding the lake transform brilliantly from green to orange-red whenever autumn arrives across the northeastern United States. Winds from the vast wilderness sweep across the mountain cliffs, carrying cool currents of air that stir the immense surface of the lake. The vegetation along the shoreline changes with every season, creating a pristine ecosystem overflowing with life. Caspian Lake stands as a pure natural masterpiece, preserving the original and majestic beauty of Vermont's landscape. Hidden at the foot of Mount Norris in Vermont, United States, Lake Eden appears like a cinematic frame steeped in untamed wilderness. In 1781, the governor granted this land to 72 veterans, yet ironically not a single one ever came to settle it. Wild nature quickly swallowed the plan drawn on paper, restoring the pristine, still water amid the vast deep green forest. The first snowfall of the season crashes down over the lake just before Halloween night, covering the dense pine forest with an icy white veil. Layers of mist rise from the deep water, carrying cold wind that slips through the curves of the famous Route 100. The roar of a snowmobile engine tears through the silence, racing across the soft, powdery band of snow and ice along the shore in an exhilarating scene. Beneath water so clear that every submerged rock ledge can be seen, aquatic vegetation gently sways with the quiet current. with no sign of glamorous resorts, only the primal collision between the winter wind and towering rock cliffs remains. Lake Eden reigns like a proud natural fortress, where land once forgotten has transformed itself into a real paradise. Lake Hortonia once bore the appearance of a bustling industrial center filled with sawmills and slate quarries. However, a dam failure in the late 19th century suddenly submerged the entire complex beneath deep water. The violent current swallowed tons of rusting machinery, permanently transforming the production area into a desolate lake basin. That year's flood inadvertently broke every concrete restraint, restoring the valley to its original natural habitat. The rock faces once carved apart began to heal beneath the pressure of the water, creating shelter for populations of bass. The silent power of nature gradually erased the remains of human activity, weaving a new ecosystem across the ruins. The violent geological upheavals of the past slowly subsided, giving way to the quiet and enduring rhythm of nature. Every deep layer of water still conceals the story of an industrial era collapsing before the power of the natural world. Lake Hortonia reigns as a witness to history, preserving the mark of humanity's great retreat before nature. Running along the rugged mountain ranges of southern Vermont, West River disguises its violent nature beneath calm, deep blue waters. This place was once the main culprit behind the most devastating flood in history to shake the entire New England region. Its furious power once surged violently, submerging numerous towns, tearing apart wooden bridges, and burying countless lives. The towering reinforced concrete walls now bear down on the riverbed, holding back tens of billions of gallons of floodwater waiting to erupt. Melting glaciers from the Ice Age carved out the basin of Sunset Lake in the heart of the valley. With no large rivers flowing in and carrying sediment, pure groundwater helps the lake preserve its natural clarity. Its separation from major trade routes has allowed the aquatic environment to maintain a pristine balance for centuries. Beneath the still water, native freshwater fish populations thrive sustainably thanks to the abundant oxygen supplied by underground springs. Broadleaf forests surrounding the lake form a natural protective barrier, preventing outside pollution from reaching the water. The natural rocky shoreline becomes a safe resting place for migratory birds stopping to feed during their journeys across the continent. The combination of basin-shaped terrain and pristine vegetation transforms this place into a perfectly enclosed ecosystem. Every layer of water and every rock wall bears the marks of Earth's slow geological formation over millions of years. Sunset Lake stands as an untouched piece of nature, preserving the complete purity of the North American landscape. Look into the dark depths of Iroquois Lake, where a heavenly facade conceals a devastating prehistoric catastrophe. A place where the world believes there are only tranquil, jade-green waters drifting through each autumn ablaze with the crimson hues of maple forests. Canoes leisurely glide across the waves, and peaceful wooden cabins hidden behind dense canopies form the picture they want to believe. But the truth beneath those still waters is a colossal scar left behind by a devastating and dark geological catastrophe. This lake was not born from nature's gentleness, but was formed when a massive glacier suddenly melted. An enormous body of trapped water burst free and tore the earth apart, burying an entire vast wilderness beneath mud. Thousands of years later, people casually built magnificent resorts directly over an ancient graveyard forgotten by time. They commercialized the death pit into a place for boating and sunbathing for unsuspecting tourists arriving from everywhere. They deliberately forget that the dark lake bed still preserves the merciless cold of the ancient Ice Age. On fog-covered winter nights, the lake freezes like a time machine silently waiting to swallow human arrogance. Crossing the rugged limestone valleys of Vermont, White River conceals a dangerously volatile geological nature within its current. This is one of the rare natural rivers that has remained completely unchained by any hydroelectric dam throughout its entire history. Its poetic wilderness and stretches of white gravel are in fact a fragile disguise for the devastating fury of the water. The river continues to surge forward like a chilling reminder that nature will always defeat every human attempt to control it. Beginning at the tranquil summit of 4th Connecticut Lake, Connecticut River surges through the eastern stretch of Vermont with dramatic hidden corners. The river cuts across wild birch forests and lush green fern groves before flowing into the Atlantic Ocean. The tree-shaded tranquility is in fact only a covering that conceals the wound left by a geological collapse millions of years ago. Connecticut River is a chained natural artery where human engineering crushes the wildness of the ecosystem. Looking at the quiet red brick workshops along the Black River, few people could imagine that Springfield was once the industrial heart of the United States. During its golden age in the mid-20th century, this valley produced more than 10% of the precision machine tools for the entire nation. Thousands of skilled machinists worked day and night, turning this place into a symbol of extraordinary manufacturing power. More remarkably, this was also where the oldest amateur telescope-making club in the United States was founded in 1923. Talented machinists personally ground and polished each intricate lens to fulfill their dream of exploring the vast starry sky. As heavy industries gradually faded into the past, this resilient city chose to reinvent itself in a spectacular way. Abandoned factories were transformed into creative art spaces and distinctive heritage galleries. Today's community continues to preserve the innovative spirit of its predecessors while building a sustainable ecological living environment. Springfield is a powerful and inspiring story of rising from the ruins of a glorious industrial legacy. Crossing spectacular scenic roads, the city of Barr emerges with an exceptionally rugged, distinctive, and energetic character. Adding definition to this city are enormous, brightly colored graffiti murals created by young local artists themselves. The downtown area takes on a unique open-air artistic atmosphere, with a series of finely crafted stone sculptures. Young people and fitness enthusiasts often gather at terrain parks to challenge themselves through cycling. Stoneworking workshops today have opened their doors to visitors, allowing them to tour the facilities and personally experience the art of carving. The city atmosphere is always lively thanks to spontaneous acoustic concerts held in the central square every weekend evening. Local residents have an exceptionally straightforward and open personality and are always willing to show visitors from afar the best places to take photos. The blend of rugged stone material and a modern free-spirited attitude creates an unmistakable urban identity. Clean stone-paved streets shaded by green trees provide a pleasant sense of peace for anyone walking through. Strolling through the peaceful streets, visitors will discover St. Johnsbury as an open and inspiring artistic space. The main attraction for local residents and visitors from afar is the cultural complex located right in the center of town. The local library features a historic reading space with warm, exposed wooden ceiling arches and abundant natural light. Next to it is a natural history museum that preserves thousands of vivid biological specimens, attracting many children who come to explore. Rows of Victorian-style houses, painted in vibrant colors, create exceptionally charming photo spots for visitors strolling through town. The community here strongly embraces a green lifestyle, reflected in community gardens that are always filled with brilliantly colorful flowers and plants. Small craft shops and family-run bakeries are always filled with the friendly conversations of local residents. An appreciation for beauty and a civilized living environment has transformed this small town into an exceptionally relaxing destination. The light of sunset paints the historic brick walls pink, bringing a peaceful day in the lush green valley to a close. Hidden among the hillsides of southern Vermont, the town of Chester preserves the beauty of a stone heritage. The history of this land is marked by sturdy gray houses meticulously assembled from countless blocks of stone. Many years ago, skilled granite carving techniques created solid structures capable of withstanding the bitter winter snow. Walking into the center, visitors enter a nostalgic world of antique shops tucked beneath rows of trees. Old wooden chests and antique pendulum clocks still preserve the rhythm of time across centuries. People come here to turn the pages of old books and listen to stories of heritage over a cup of hot tea. The gentle patter of rain outside the window adds even more depth and warmth to the antique-filled surroundings. Every small object is carefully preserved, like a living piece, connecting the past with the rhythm of the present. The journey ends as warm yellow light spills from a stone-framed window, illuminating the moss-covered paved road.